to play in a cup final against Inverurie Locos. You look at Locos' team, and Jevon's brother Cole, his younger brother, he is with Locos now, but he's cup-tied, having played for Martin earlier in the competition, which is unfortunate for him. Johnny Smith also cup-tied, and Gary Wood out with a foot injury, so Locos missing a few important players there.
But one important inclusion in the team is number 9, Neil Gold.
Oh, certainly, and if you speak to Neil, given the way he sort of left Inverurie last summer, he would love to score the winning goal today, and I mean his record at the level is top class, there's no doubt about that. 360 goals at Highland League level for Neil, and you wouldn't really bet against him adding to it today, would you?
No. And on the other foot, really, you look at the position of Jamie Watt, who's now Andy Lowe's assistant here at Harmore Park, and he left Bankside a matter of months ago. He was sent to Bankside, so he feels he's got a wee point to prove as well.
Well, I would say that's certainly the case. I think Jamie would say that himself. I think it's funny, really, if you look at both sides in the route to the final. They've both changed manager en route. You know, Inverurie, Richard Hastings guided them through the first round tie against Fraserburgh here, the 1-2-1, and then they beat Turriff 1-0 at the Hawks, and then he was relieved of his duties, and Andy and Jamie have come in. And then for Bankside, Jamie and Roy McBain, they defeated Brora on penalties up at Dudgeon Park and Forest at home, and then they moved on, and it was Josh Winton and Paul Lawson who've guided them through the semi-final at Buckie to get here.
Well, a well-known figure there walking off the pitch, Rod Peachtree, president of the SFA, a very important man in Scottish football.
He certainly is, and it's good of him to take the time to, out of his busy schedule, to come and watch the Highland League Cup final, because I'm sure he's got many obligations in that role, so every credit to him for coming to watch what should hopefully be a cracking game, Dave.
Yeah, and I'm not going to put you in well, maybe I will put you in the spot. Come on, I think it might even go to penalties today, straight to penalties after 90 minutes if it's a draw. What's your thoughts on the final?
I would be inclined to agree with you. I think it'll be very tight. I might just, in terms of a winner in 90 minutes, I would maybe be inclined to go slightly towards Bankside. I just think they've got that wee bit more firepower. I mean, Neil Golden, Lachie McLeod, as you mentioned, and they've got the likes of Jack Phillips, but they've the likes of Jack Henderson and Chris Ancinazzi on the bench, who, if a game's tight, could come on and change it. But it's one of them, it's very hard to call. I wouldn't say there was an outstanding favourite either way, Dave.
Good. And of course the pitch is looking superb, and all credit to Bobby Cowie, the groundsman here, for and on Thursday this was underwater, and he's done a miraculous job of getting it clear.
Like so many of his colleagues in the Highland League that look after the pitches, Bobby's done a tremendous job. I mean, for this time of the season, and given the weather we've had, you can have no complaints about the surface, that's for sure, isn't it? I mean, he takes great pride in his pitch, and rightly so.
On your own for a 10-0 Sugar Great Cup final, join the game.
The mascots coming off the pitch. We'll keep the microphones right up to the lip, pretend they're lip microphones. So preliminaries are completed. Big cup final for referee Duncan Nicholson, his first big cup final, the youngster.
Aye, he's one of the sort of emerging crop of referees, Duncan, so hopefully a stress-free afternoon, shall we say.
We'll go for stress-free. Okay, Neil Gold gets the game underway. It's a little bit breezy here, but nothing like it can be at Belsley. By Ali Starr knocks it forward, but Locos dealing with that, no problem. It's a long ball through all the way back to Andy Reid, his first touch of the game. 38-year-old Andy Reid, we've got two of the oldest keepers in football at the moment. 38-year-old Andy Reid is eclipsed by 39-year-old Andy Shearer at the other end.
The two of them very reliable as well. I mean, it's amazing you look back when Keith won the Highland League Cup in 2007. Andy Shearer was, I believe, was between the posts, and when Locos last won it in 2009, Andy Reid was between the posts. So
That's right.
It's remarkable longevity. I do think as well, Dave, Banks of Dee are playing down the hill here and with the breeze at their back. So if you speak to people connected with Fraserburgh, they always say that you look to try and take advantage of that when you're playing with the wind and down the hill. So I think Banks of Dee will be really trying to push in this first half and make the most of it.
That's right, Callum. If it's a Brock, they prefer to play up the hill in the first half and down the hill in the second.
Then it's all-out attack, usually second half, but we'll see.
There we go. Hopefully you're hearing us loud and clear all across the world now.
They are hearing us now, we've been told, so that's always a good start. Or maybe not, depending on your point of view, Dave. But it's interesting, both teams seem to have started 4-4-2 at the moment. Banks of Dee with Neil Gold and Lachie McLeod up front, as you would expect. Inverurie with Robert Ward and Sam Robertson, a recent signing.
I think he's done well since he came to the club, Sam Robertson. He's always a danger.
He is. He's quite he's a good runner to stretch defences, and he's strong, and he's a good finisher as well. And I mean, for somebody who's quite young as well, he's got good experience of him being at Cove and at Bucky, and it did well with Dyson the junior. So he's coming in and should be a good addition in Inverurie, I would suggest.
Yeah. That's Michael Phillips in there. I think he's one of the best players. Before he came into the Highland League, I thought he was one of the best players in junior football. But he's certainly one of the best players in the Highland League. He was out for a long time, nearly a year with that broken ankle, wasn't it?
Aye. Well, I think the thing with Michael Phillips in this season is we haven't seen the best. I don't think we've seen the best of him really in the Highland League, because he's still sort of been feeling his way back from that ankle problem. But everyone in the league knows the ability he's got. He can change a game in an instant.
Quality player. It's a long throw into the box, but Locos deal with that quite well. It's Ken Winton, I think, with that effort, but very, very easy meet for Andy Reid. We've got a cup final atmosphere. We've got the chuffs on the far side, Callum.
Aye, as you would expect. They always add to the atmosphere. The chuffs. There's no question about that.
Looking around, I don't think there's an inch of Bellsleeve that's not got an advertising hoarding on. That's a credit to all the work done by the Brock committee, really, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's great to see, because clubs, you need support to keep the club going, and they've certainly got the community right behind them. Here's a
Neil Gold bursting through, but
his old pal Mark Souter dealt with that.
Yeah, for sure. Short this time. And it's offside though.
It's interesting, Dave, just looking at way Banks of Dee have lined up. Ali Stark is playing at centre half and Darren Kelly's in at right back.
It's strange, isn't it? Because Ali Stark's a fullback.
But he has, when Banks of Dee have been struggling with one or two injuries the last couple of months, he's played centre half quite a bit and done well, so I assume that's probably why he's kept his place there.
Yeah.
And Jevon Anderson's over at left back, which he's played before, but really almost you could, I know Ali Stark probably more of a right back, but you could almost say Banks of Dee have four centre backs in the defence, because Jevon and Casper Lewicki and Darren Kelly are all sort of comfortable centre halves, really.
Yeah. all very interchangeable. I know Alistair did play an occasion at central defence of his old club, my hometown team, Locos. He was there for several seasons and real stalwart at that time. Big loss losing him to Banks of Eve, but of course he was only one at one latterly travelling through from Aberdeen, so it made sense for him to go with a local club. Now Locos bursting forward here.
Pretty needless foul from Robert Ward, that.
Silly that, wasn't it?
And it's one of them, the defender, when you're in that situation, contact will go down, so you know there, Robert Ward, you know, the head bounce that he penned in a wee bit, you didn't really need to touch him there.
No. Highly impressed with you this afternoon, Callum. You're multitasking. You do your match report at the same time.
Aye, well, I'll do my best. But the good thing here is we like to, in the online world we're operating now, Dave, they like to have a report up just sort of on full time, and I'll have a wee bit more time today because it'll be the trophy presentation. So I'll put the finishing touches on when whatever club's lifting the trophy.
Correct. Well done indeed.
That was a bit of a hospital
Phillipson
pass.
plays it wide. Ball in. Well cleared away by Locos defence. The pitch is a wee bit bobbly, a wee bit fiery
As you would expect.
this time of year.
I've seen pitches a lot worse.
Most certainly.
Say as well, Dave, well, maybe not as many as a usual Fraserburgh game behind the goal, but there's an excellent crowd in the stand. Stand is jam-packed, and over on the far side there's a lot of folks. So good to see the final being well supported by both clubs.
It certainly is. Well played there, strong play. Strong play by Logan Johnson. He's a physical presence, isn't he?
I think managers, if they could, they'd want everyone in their team to have his sort of physique, because he's big and he's quick and he's good in there. He's got all the things you look for.
And I think he can take a long throw as well, if I remember correctly.
He certainly can, aye.
Short this time though.
Corner though.
Corner. First corner of the game. Okay, our first corner of the game, and the big boys coming forward for Locos here, and a couple of little ones at the front there as well. That's off the training ground, that one. But Banks of Eve defend deal fairly well with that, but Robert Ward on the left picks it up. There's no way past him. The goal kick.
Good luck getting round Darren Kelly in that position.
An old head Kelly there.
Won this cup with Cove, of course, but
That's right.
in the past. But there's a couple of folk as well, Dave. I'm sure they'll be watching. I was hoping to give a mention to, because two of the Locos committee, Mr. Graham Hay and Barry Gibb, they're away on holiday, and when I saw Barry last week, he said he would be watching because they weren't able to get back for the final, so disappointed to be missing it, but I'm sure you'll be enjoying it with a beer, gentlemen.
Barry doesn't drink, does he? No.
Surely not.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Oh, the odd sangria this afternoon. Barry, enjoy. You may be able to celebrate much more later on this evening, who knows? At the moment, there's nothing between the two sides, really. Nothing between the two sides at all.
It's a good bit of hold-up play there by Sam Robertson, actually, to bring in Dingwall and then Ward, and it's kind of got Inverurie into a decent position again up the park.
It sure did. fairly tentative opening, Callum. They're just feeling their way into the final.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where you certainly, you don't want to do anything daft and lose a couple of goals in the first 10, 15 minutes. That's an excellent header for Kane Winton to clear there. That's composed play from David Wilson as well for Inverurie. He's on loan for Peterhead. He's been a very good signing for them.
Big physical presence once more at the back, isn't it? He's held off the challenge well, but Logan Johnson did give the free kick away, bringing down Magnus Watson there, and it's a good area for Banks of D, this one, Callum.
Certainly is. I think, well, Magnus Watson's got his hands in the ball rather, but I think Mark Gilmore would probably fancy having a strike from here. He looks to be lining up that way.
And if they take it now, I think Neil Gould's marginally offside, about 10 yards.
Just slightly. He plays on the last shoulder, as they say.
He's got a bit of advancing to do before he's on the last shoulder. Here he comes. He's coming out. Decoy possibly, is it? Because for the back stick, just eludes everyone. Goes away for a goal kick. Didn't trouble Andy Reid there whatsoever.
No, it was a bit of a waste, really, that. It has to be said.
But a strange one. I thought he would have had a dig.
He's certainly capable as well, Mark Gilmore. He's a good at letting fly, but
offside there.
Linesman got a stare there from Neil Gould. Couldn't believe it.
One of the funniest things I ever saw on a football ground, Callum, was here at Belsley a long time ago, decades ago. A pie was thrown from the stand when you could actually aim at a linesman, and it landed in his head, and the linesman ran for 5 yards with his pie in his head before it slipped off.
Oh me.
That's a good ball in. Dealt with fairly easily by the Banks of D defence, but it's nothing in it at all. Nothing in it whatsoever.
This is where Inverurie have to watch, is on the counter attack, because Magnus Watson, especially down this right side, is lightning quick.
He's very quick.
I mean, even earlier, speaking about Magnus, earlier in the season when Banks of D were up at Wick, and well, they won convincingly, I think 8-0 in the day, and he'd played in Wick's player manager, Gary Manson, had played at left back, and he said to me after the game that he didn't think he'd ever come across someone quite as quick and tricky as Magnus was that day, which is, for somebody that's played in the league for as many years as Gary, I thought that was quite a compliment.
Yep. Of course, Gary came off the bench at Keith the other night, made an appearance with 10 minutes to go, bolstered his side at the back as they were losing 2-0 at County Park. But top man, Gary Manson.
Well, he was very complimentary of Magnus Watson and Banks of D anyway.
That looked like a free kick to me.
That was a bit needless as well from Kasper Lewicki. Robert Ward, he's back to goal, halfway line. He's not going anywhere there. He didn't need to do that.
No, that's offside. Got to be offside. I think he knew it.
Stopped anyway.
Well, there we go. Not much in that, Callum.
I thought that was pretty soft. I mean, there was a similar one in the lead up to that, Mark Suter on Lachie McLeod, that Duncan Nicholson didn't give. And I mean, I don't like criticising referees, but I think that was certainly in the soft side.
Yeah, not a lot in that one.
miscommunication there. Andy Reid shouted for it, but Mark Suter put his head on it anyway, and it's resulted in this throw-in to Bankside.
Yeah. This one's going to be launched into the box, I'd imagine. There we go. Very easy. Whoa. Chance for Neil Gold. Scramble clear in the end. Darren Kelly. Good football by Bankside there. Sets it nice.
Neil Gold
at the back post, downward header.
Jamie Mickey was in the way, and that's a foul.
Oh yeah. Jamie gets up and keeps going, but it was a free kick.
I think with the breeze, Dave, that long throw in for Jevon Anderson, Andy Lowe and Jamie Watt be a bit unhappy with that. It went over Sam Burnett's head, and it's allowed to bounce right through to Neil Gold inside the 6-yard box, which, you know,
that was dangerous.
They got enough bodies around it to deal with it, but that's something the Inverurie management won't want to see happening again.
Now, you can't give Neil Gold an inch inside the 6-yard box especially, or it's in the back of the net. It's a good ball through, looked possibly offside.
Well, I thought he was offside as well, David,
offside,
at first glance, but he
got shot away though.
There's a legend coming up to annoy us in the stand. Big Craig McEwen. Won this cup with our Martin 5 years ago.
Didn't he just? He's wearing wells, Craig.
I believe he still plays for Bridgerdawn Thistle in the juniors, so he's still going. Was a fearsome defender at this level in his day, Dave.
Wasn't he just? Brora for quite a couple of seasons as well, wasn't he?
He was. He won the league with Brora, 2015.
Right. That's right.
That's good striker play for Sam Robertson there. Got his team something and got him up the park.
Still very little to choose between these two sides. Two very evenly matched sides. Keep you across all the developments in the Highland League this afternoon. According to my text here, there's no goals anywhere else in Highland League football.
Oh well, I'm sure it won't stay like that for the 90 minutes.
No, I thought Strathspey Bucky might have produced a goal or two.
I must say this is getting away for the final as well, but Strathspey, I was at their game against Clark last weekend under Robert McCormack. They're much improved. I thought they were very good last weekend, and it would be good to see them going the right way.
Yes, I would agree with that totally. He was a bit shell-shocked after Rothers beat them 8-0, and I said to him, Robert, keep going. It's only one game. It'll come good for you. That's a good ball forward. It's being chased, but Andy Reid should gather that one, as he does. Magnus Watson is tricky, isn't he? He's quick and wiry.
Yes, I think he had a wee loan spell second half of last season at Turriff, and he improved Turriff, and I mean he's come in and sort of when he's been fit, he's been a pretty regular player for Bankside this season, so a young player where, I mean he's doing well now, but clearly a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, good prospect indeed. That's good play. Couldn't cut it back at all, but he did well to get into position, Sam Robertson. Looking for the long ball this time, but it's well cut out by David Wilson. You're right about the stand being packed out, Callum. It holds about 400. The stand it's fairly busy.
There's not many empty seats. There would be the guts of 400, isn't it?
I think so.
I would say, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, the high boot by Kane Winton there.
There was absolutely
no malice in it.
No malice. He didn't see Greg Mitchell coming. He was on the turn away to clear, and Greg Mitchell's been brave there and put his head in where it hurts. And it is, I mean, decision definitely right, giving Inverurie the free kick, but I was no malice at all in that.
You're dead right. And Duncan Nicholson, referee, knows that as well. He's
and the Inverurie players also, they haven't, made a big fuss about it or been looking for bookings or anything. Everyone knows that's just one of those incidents that you get in a game from time to time. So the sensible approach here, I would say.
Yeah, and he's okay. He's jumped up again. He's okay. Looking for Jamie Meekie in the back stick there, but he's easily brushed off the ball there. Long ball, and it's going to find its way all the way back to Andy Reid in the Locos goal. Good shout from Andy Reid there. Not let his defender know that he wanted the ball, and it did find its way back to the big a joiner, Andy Reid. He's a joiner, of course, isn't he?
He certainly is. This is when I spoke to him during the week for a piece in the Press and Journal. He said that this stage is when you get to cup finals, he's even more desperate to win them because he doesn't know when his last might be. He's had a long career, and he's hoping to maybe lift one or two more pieces of silverware before it comes to an end.
You went back against him. He's the sort of goalkeeper, keeps himself fit. He could play into his 40s for sure.
He could do, and I mean, I think he is under contract for the next couple of seasons, so there's a fair chance he will, Dave, I would imagine.
Yeah. Scrappy at the moment, Callum. There's not much happening. Needs somebody to put their foot on the ball and make something happen.
It's one of them, Dave, where again it's nobody wants to make a mistake or potentially cost their side by doing anything too rash. But I think what I said at the start of the game about Inverurie playing up the hill and into the wind.
Yeah.
If they were to get in, I know there's a long way to go in this half, with still 20 minutes, but if they were to go in at half time at 0-0, I don't think they would be too disappointed, to be honest with you.
No, I think they would be happy enough with that, wouldn't they?
They would be, although it's funny sometimes because the last time Banks of D were here, they played Fraserburgh in the league, and they played.
It's a half chance there, but again.
I was just going to say, Banks of D played down the hill first half. It was 0-0, and then they scored 3 going the other way in the second half.
That's right. Robert Ward got his head on that, but not enough power to do anything with it, really. And it's a long ball from Andy Shearer, looking for Magnus Watson. Will it find its way all the way through? I think it will, with the wind behind. And for all you Dons fans out there throughout the world, Aberdeen have gone ahead against Kilmarnock. Tavares Lopez, commonly known as
Duke in the first minute. Oh, so
First minute, yeah.
well, there's a problem here for Bankside. Lockie McLeod is down. He's getting the cool spray applied to the base of his back. It would be a blow for Bankside if they were to lose him, because he's a
awkward striker, isn't he?
He really is, and he's actually got a fair. I think he's up to 18 goals this season as well. So he's a top scorer in all competitions. So he's been a really important player for them. And not to reveal too much, but when I got in touch with him this week, he informed me that it was his last week for submitting his dissertation at university. So he was busy up until late yesterday for getting his dissertation submitted for his degree.
What's he studying, Carl?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you, but he just in his text said that he had a dissertation to complete, so he would rather pass than speaking to me, which was perfectly fine. I couldn't blame him for that at all. But,
he's always a clever laddie anyway.
And I mean, it's quite a week, you know. Never mind the stresses of playing in a cup final on Saturday, when he said his dissertation all through the week.
For sure. No, he's okay. He's back on. He's had the spray on his back, the base of his back, and he's just fine. Always liked him in the junior level as well. He's a dangerous striker.
Yep, certainly, Dave. Certainly. You see the ball holding up in the breeze there.
Yeah.
Robert Ward was in behind and had to quickly check.
Sam Robertson making his presence felt there and winning the ball. It's clear again. Offside.
He was offside there. He was always a yard.
Not much in it, but he was offside.
The thing, David, this final it has been played at a good tempo. It's not been played at a slow pace. It's just been goal-mouth action. We've been a wee bit scarce of.
Yeah. Neither keeper tested at all, really.
Kane Winton's done well there to get that inside.
He has. And Lockie McLeod. He's still holding his back, though, isn't he?
He's not moving very well at all. I'd imagine Mark Suter, the wily defender that he is, he might just be putting a wee bit of pressure on that area, as you do.
Yes. Within the laws, of course.
Of course. But
yeah. He's right on him there just now as well. Lay off by McLeod, and it's a corner, is it? There's a corner kick.
It looked like it come off Dick Colin Dingwall, but we'll see on the replay potentially.
This is Bankside's first corner, I think.
I think it was a corner. Inverurie's players were disputing it, but it looked on the replay like Duncan Nicholson got it right to me.
Right, so who's going to be the dangers here? Who's up for this one? Free kick. Yeah, there was a push there, wasn't there?
Kane
Winton. Yeah.
Greg Mitchell, yeah. Sort of careered into him a wee bit.
Yeah, ever so slightly. So how are we doing for time? Approaching the half hour, isn't it? And still little to choose. Yeah. Little to choose between them. You're right, Callum. I think D would like a goal with this breeze behind them just to cement the first half for them.
It would certainly give them a boost, I think, and it would mean as well maybe even second half Inverurie would have to go for broke a wee bit more, maybe leave a wee bit more space at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not the best of clearances for Ali Star.
No.
Jevon Anderson maybe a wee bit fortunate to get away with putting his hand on Nathan Mears there. I've seen
He got away with that though, didn't he?
Just slightly. It's good play from Greg Mitchell there, but oh, and there's a chance.
A chance here. He just put it too far in front of him.
Heavy touch, Nathan Mears was all it cost him, but still the throw in for Inverurie. They've got a decent position here to cause a problem.
I always thought he's a danger man, Robert Ward, isn't he? He can do.
It's tricky, that's for sure. He never shooting sort of two-footed as well. He can go either way.
Yeah, no, there's a chance. That'll be all the way through to.
Idea was right from Kane Winton there, but he just too much on it because Magnus Watson was off and running, but too much on it.
We're keeping our eyes across all of Scottish football today, and one important game down in Cliftonville is Albion 0, Elgin City 0. Massive game for Elgin City today, Colin.
It is. I mean, we're members of the Highland League for a long time, and obviously well, I'm sure they'll be warmly welcome back. They don't want to be getting relegated, and if they could get 3 points a day, it would go a long way towards keeping them safe. And I see in another Highland.
Here's Magnus Watson breaking forward. Corner kick.
Wilson did well there. Came across, was alive to the quick free kick. I see another former Highland League side, Peter Header, winning.
That's an oddity.
Well, it has been this season, but Ryan Strachan and Jordan Brown, interim co-managers, if they could keep the blue tune up, I'm sure they'd be very popular.
Williamson scoring for Peterhead there, if that's how you pronounce it. It's a good ball across.
It's clear, that's 2 corners
Big
now
Johnson
that
there.
Mark Gilmore swung in. Kane Winton's been a target both times because he is such a threat in the air. It's clear that he's a target at set pieces.
Very much so. Banksy D look the more likely so far, but no real shots on target as yet.
I mean, the only effort on target we've had was
a
that
substitution. Is this Lackey with his sore back? I think it is.
He's coming off.
I think it is. That's a blow. So who's going? Is it Jack Henderson? I would imagine.
Don't think it is. I
No?
think it might be
Antoniazzi.
Antoniazzi, and Mikey Phillipson would then go into the hole off a Neil Gold.
So it's Antoniazzi coming on for Lackey. That is a blow for Banksy D.
That is. He's been in good form. We'll see when he turns round, but it looks awful like Chris Antoniazzi. It is Chris Antoniazzi, number 12.
Was he for Martin at one time, Carl?
He's been it for Martin, Cove, Forfar, Montrose, Elgin.
Man of many
Aberdeen.
clubs. Man of many clubs.
Substitution for Banksy D, replacing number 10, Lachy McLeod, number 12, Christian Antoniazzi.
Well announced Jason on the loudspeaker. Got his name right. And pronounce it correctly as well. Hello, what's that for? Sam Robertson getting involved in a little bit of.
He disagrees with the referee anyway, Sam. I think that's clear to say, but
Not much in that though.
well, I didn't see it because the ball was away and I followed the ball, but it looked just a nudge and Mark Gilmore went down.
Yeah. Not much in that at all. Well, the game maybe needs a goal, Callum.
It would certainly open things up a wee bit, Dave. I think it's. I mean, you always think in tight cup finals the first goal will be very important anyway, but it looks to be the case today because there's very, very little to separate them at the moment. More of the game maybe has been played in Inverurie's half, but again with the conditions, I would have expected that before kickoff.
Yeah. Yeah, just two very evenly matched sides. Watson did well to keep that one in play. He's still going. They take on Logan Johnson, looking for a back post ball. It's a corner kick. Good tackle by Johnson.
That just shows you a wee bit of what Magnus Watson's about. Greg Mitchell was stuck to him like glue, but he wriggled out and he's won Banks a corner.
Right then. This would be a nice time for the opener, wouldn't it? Make your possession pay. Probably looking for Kane Winton, and he doesn't beat the first man. Jamie Meekey clearing that one.
Oh, not the best of clearances for Johnston there.
Wasn't at all. Antoniazzi looking to get it in. Plays it to Dan Kelly, who feeds Antoniazzi, but that was a hospital pass there.
Not Darren Kelly's finest that pass, it's fair to say.
No, not really.
Still in Banks of D's throw in regardless though.
Yeah.
Looks like I see Chris Hunter standing over there. Another legend of Highland League football. He's going to come and have a word with us as well.
Mr. Hunter, lovely to see you, Chris. How you doing? The only club he ever played for was Fraserville, would you believe? Chris Hunter.
He retired young as well to go and
Didn't
manage Mod.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe there was a spectator maybe needing a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, I saw the Red Cross guys going down there.
Potentially, maybe got struck by the ball, I think, when Sam Robertson cleared it.
Yeah, I saw the two Red Cross guys going in to administer a little bit of attention to one of the fans there. Half a chance here. Half a chance. Can he get his shot in? No. Mark Gilmer closed down there.
Ward's done
and
well.
a chance for Locos to break forward. Look for Sam Robertson through the middle. Locos fans getting excited there. Ward again. Out to Jamie Meekey, looking for the back. No, not looking for the back stick. Looking for a cross, and it's easily cut out by Andy Shearer.
That was a decent little raid from Inverurie. Robert Ward sort of engineered it himself, and Sam Robertson's first touch just a wee bit heavy, cost him. I thought he might have even had the chance to just slip it in for Nathan Mears down inside right channel, but that was with a wee bit more composure. That might have been a really good chance for Inverurie, but it just shows you what they can do on the counter attack.
Yeah, most certainly. Andy Shearer looking to punt it long.
Mark Suter's won a lot of headers even at this stage of the...
Referee Nicholson getting in the act there.
Wasn't it just his best first touch, was it?
No, really.
But no, Mark Suter even, which he knew he would have had to have done, especially in this first half playing against the wind, but he's won a lot of headers, Mark Suter, and been pretty solid at the back for Inverurie, as you would expect for someone with his experience.
Not much gets past Mark Suter, is there?
We should say as well, David, as Andy Reid should deal with this, he will. Before the game, we heard that the sponsors of this competition, GPH Builders Merchants, have agreed to sponsor the Highland League Cup again for next season, which I think we can all agree is excellent news. They've been really active sponsors and really sort of bought into the competition and what it's about, and I think everyone delighted to hear that news.
Yeah, I think they're a very important sponsor at the Highland League, and good on them for sponsoring it again next year. That's an excellent win-win result.
And I mean, their chairman Mike McCauley here, he's not like having the usual sort of sponsors there. He'll be nervous because he's also the chairman of Inverurie Locos, so
he's vested interest.
He's certainly got a vested interest.
No, we can't see what's going on there. I'm sure you can in the camera, but it's out of our line of vision. I think it's a free kick for Locos, is it? Just beside the corner flag?
It's definitely Locos' ball, that's for sure. Whether it's a throw-in or a free kick, I'm not entirely sure. We'll see here. I think it is a free kick. There was a bit of a body check on Greg Mitchell, Dave. We're fortunate viewers to have a replay. We can a few seconds behind, so we can have a look at what's happening. Callum Dingwall to take this free kick.
And changing tack, who can reveal it. Tiger Woods has made the cut at the Masters. Good old Tiger.
You can never count him out.
We're up to date here with all the news across all the genre of sport here on Fraser's YouTube channel. Okay, we'll look for a ball floated in here. It's going to be a low, hard one, or Michael Phillipson standing in line there, but it's cleared by Mark Gilmore.
Not Callum Dingwall's best delivery, that. He's certainly capable of better. And Andy Reid's a wee bit of pressure with this back pass.
Oh, yeah, well, he manages to clear it into touch.
Don't think Inverurie are too disappointed to see that go out, let themselves get set up again.
Yeah, get back in position. That should run through for a goal kick, I would imagine.
Oh, Neil Gould.
Neil Gould did very well, didn't he? 35-year-old Neil Gould. 360 odd goals to his name, I think. 286 of them for Locos.
Yep, he is Inverurie's all-time record goal scorer, Neil, and also turned out for Martin United and for Huntly in the Highland League as well.
That's right. It's a good ball. Good ball in. Someone got a head on it.
That was Neil Gould, but
was it not much of a cushioned header, should we say, into Andy Reid's hands. And as we approach half-time, there's still nothing in it between these sides. Inverurie Locos and Bankside here at Belsley in the final of the GPH Builders Merchants Highland League Cup. Yes. Dan Kelly bursts forward. He's tricky, isn't he? Really tricky, Magnus Watson. Logan Johnson's got his hands full this afternoon with the little winger. Well, that's one way of clearing your lines. That's how to clear your lines.
Taking no chances.
No messing about there. Robert Ward going down, holding his leg there. I don't know if there was much in that, but Jeremy Anderson was the one who was involved in the tackle.
Goal kick's been given, but Robert Ward does certainly look to be in a bit of discomfort, and the physio is coming on. During this wee lull in play just before half-time approaches, we'll be able to give you the other scores in the Highland League if I have a quick look.
I couldn't find any of them earlier on.
At the moment, Brora Rangers 0, for Martin United 0, Keith 0, Huntly 0, Nairn County 0, Clachnacudden 0. Bad news for you, Dave.
Oh no.
Rothes 0, Devonvale 1.
Oh no.
Old Vale have just scored. Strathspey Thistle 0, Buckie Thistle 0, and Turf United 0, Wick Academy 0. So
the only goals against my hometown team, Rothes. Oh, sod it. Never mind. Always a second half team, Rothes.
I'm sure that's what Ross Jock will say in his team talk, but that's the state of play of it at the moment, by the looks of things across the north.
Well, you can let me know when Rothes equalise, Callum. I'll look forward to that with relish. Talking about relish, there's a boy with a pie and he's got loads of tomato sauce on it. Looks nice, Callum.
It certainly did. I've just had a message actually from Barry Gibb, who we mentioned earlier. He's having a San Miguel while watching the game. So.
Okay, well done, Barry. Enjoy your San Miguel. Have one in us. We'll get rid of Charlie Allen. He's disappeared. He was sitting in front of us. Someone has said, Charlie Allen, the voice of football, or is that the voice of a football?
Charlie, in fairness, would tell that one on himself.
He would. And Phillipson wide on the right, looking to get a corner kick, I think, but he's won it. He's won the corner.
Did well there, Mikey Phillipson. There wasn't really a lot on for him at all, so it was probably the best he could hope for.
So we must just be closing in on half
We're
time.
into first half stoppage time, I believe.
Looking for it. End the first half on a high note. Ooh, that was dangerous, but
it was a wee bit of a chance up for Jevon Anderson. Actually, and he's collided with the hoarding, which would be quite sore, I would think.
I think he's all right. I think we're moving into added time now.
We've played about 2 minutes added time actually, so I think when the ball goes up the park here, that'll probably be it for the first half.
There we go. Callum called it right.
Once in a lifetime I've been right, but you have to say the very, very cagey first half. Very little to choose between either side. I mean, neither goalkeeper's been seriously tested. The pace of Robert Ward and Sam Robertson for Inverurie caused the odd problem, and Banks of D set pieces looked a risk, but other than that, very little between the sides.
You called it right, Callum. We called it right before the start. Very little between the two teams. It's half time, and it's Inverurie Locos 0, Banks of D 0. We're going to wait for a quick comfort break, a cup of tea, maybe a pie, you never know, and we're with you for the second half in about 15 minutes time. Bye for now.
today's half-time raffle number is 45725. 45725. The winner will receive £100. Just make your way to the club office or the main stand to collect your prize.
Second half, just a way to get back underway here. My co-commentator Dave's just appearing back up the stairs, so we're all good to go now. Still 0-0 and away we go.
I've got a very valid excuse. I was standing in the urinals next to the Bankside chairman asking his opinion on how he thought the game was going. And he said that Lachie McLeod wasn't really carrying an injury, and it was a knock in the back he got in the game, so there we go.
Said about the game might not have been broadcastable, to be honest, because it
wasn't one of the better performances, he thought. But there we go, we're back in it.
Still go.
And it's anybody's game, Callum. We're returned refreshed and watered.
Very nice half-time spread, we should say as well, courtesy of the excellent catering staff in Fraserborough's Hospitality Lounge.
Absolutely superb. There's a cold breeze out there though, Callum. It's not the warmest of days. They were back in situ for the second half, and it's Locos with the breeze at their backs this time.
Good to see for Inverurie Sam Burnett out there and starting today. Sam been a player that in his near 4 years now, he was part of that Cove team that got promoted, but since he joined Inverurie he's had very little luck with injuries. Sam, and a terrific player in his day, and he's just the last couple of years had not had really any good fortune in terms of injuries.
And he's a nice laddie, Sam. I know his dad Alan. His dad Alan used to work with my wife for many years. A nice chap, Alan, and he's a nice young kid, Sam, and never really got his chance at Cove, Callum, did he? It
was one of them. He was one of the ones who was promoted to the Scottish League. He sort of fell by the wayside a wee bit because he was in the team that won promotion. He scored. I remember he scored in the playoff against Berwick Rangers. He in the first leg at Cove. He scored the first goal, I seem to recall.
That's right. Sunny, breezy day at I was going to say Allen Park, but not Allen Park anymore. It was Balmoral Stadium. Yes.
Up to this game, and that was a wee bit of a disappointment there from Inverurie. Colin Dingwall. It's a couple of deliveries now, haven't they just been on the money there? That one sailed straight into the hands of Andy Shearer, and
it was too easy for Andy, that one. Knocking it on wide, and it's Magnus Watson. No power in that one. It's our sound man extraordinaire, young Jack, on our left, giving us a little bit of a replay there. Brilliant. Now here we go. It's a corner kick. Ball's played in. Back post.
Jevon Anderson was up.
He was climbing, but I think he was maybe fouling. There's something happened off the ball here.
Kasper Lewicki
booked. A yellow card.
Fouling Robert Ward, I believe.
First yellow card of the afternoon, issued by referee Duncan Nicholson.
Up to this point, Duncan's had a pretty good game, we have to say, Dave. I hope I don't jinx him, but there's been no controversy to speak of.
No, he's done well. Bankside didn't really harness the wind at all, did they? But he has a half chance.
Good goalkeeping, Andy Shearer. He was out smartly. He was alert to the play there.
Off his line very quickly there. Got to the ball before Greg Mitchell as he closed in. Aimless ball back to the goalkeeper there. Neil Gordon, Suter tussling for the ball. They know each other well, these two. You'd expect Locos to have more to play in the second half with the breeze behind them, Carlo.
You would. a wee bit frenetic at the moment. I just think there's no real rhythm or pattern of play to the game. It's very much a sort of midfield battle at the minute.
Still very nervy.
That was a good challenge, Logan Johnston. And
good ball forward. You get the feeling Magnus Watson might just be the real danger man for Banks of D today. He seems to be on his game.
He's certainly, I think, him and Robert Ward have looked, when they've been in possession, they've looked the two liveliest players on the pitch.
Yeah, ones that could cause danger.
Great throw for Logan Johnson to find Robert
Wasn't
Ward.
it a long throw? It was too.
You can't be offside at a throw-in, of course.
No. Andy Shearer gathers in safely.
Just a disappointing cross from Robert there. He'd done the hard bit to a large extent by getting the opportunity.
And Taniatse feeds Phillipson. Phillipson's had a quiet game. Goal kick.
Inverurie have certainly shackled Mikey Phillipson well. There's no question about that. I did think a wee bit once Lachie McLeod went off and he was sort of moved more into that free role, if he might have a bit more influence on proceedings, but it hasn't quite happened yet.
No. Another long throw from Logan Johnson, looking for Ward, and he nearly finds him. But
credit to Ali Stark.
Well cut out by Ali Stark. That's a good ball forward. Magnus Watson. Watson scores for Bank today. Brilliant finish by the winger.
Tremendous goal. Antonazzi was able to sort of drift inside, over ahead. The pass was perfect over ahead of Logan Johnson, who looks a bit sick over on the far side, and understandably so. Brilliant finish into the top corner. Andy Reid, no chance. Mark Suter couldn't quite get across in time, and just as happened when they were up here playing Fraserburgh, Banks of D playing up the hill, they've made the breakthrough. So 8 minutes into the second half.
I said a couple of minutes ago I thought Magnus Watson might be the one that could cause the danger, and we're proved right for once. Great finish though, Callum.
Oh, superb. A goal fit to grace a cup final, as the cliche goes, that's for sure. But
well, we could be looking at history. No other club have won the Highland League Cup in their first season in Highland League football. They introduced in 1946, just after the war. First season after the war, the Highland League Cup final was introduced, and no club in its first season in the Highland League football has won this trophy.
I mean, obviously in the league with Banks of D they were hampered by that points deduction, but certainly when you, with their pedigree in cup competitions, you only need to look at last season. They got to the fourth round of the Scottish Cup and they won the Aberdeenshire Double, the Evening Express Aberdeenshire Cup, and the Morrison Motors Turriff Aberdeenshire Shield, so they're well capable, and they've shown it again in this cup competition.
And I think that goal might just make it a game, because Locos have now got to throw everything forward, look for that equaliser.
Still a long time to go yet. It's still 35 minutes plus, but
it's going to make it interesting for sure. Maybe a bit cagey the first half and early stage of the second half, but that goal has certainly opened things up. I hope a certain Barry Gibb hasn't choked on his San Miguel when that goal went in.
Well, I'm sure not. He'll be keeping the faith. It was a better ball in from Colin Dingle that time, but
Yeah, aimless in the end. Locos have got to chase the game now, Callum. Keeping us across the Highland League. There's only 2 goals in the Highland League. It's Rothes 0, Devonville 1, and it's Nairn County 1, Clacknacudd 0. Conor Gethins with his 201st goal for Nairn County.
There's a shock.
Still right, Gethins. He's older, he's fatter, he's not so quick, but by God, does he know the back of the net?
You never lose it, as they say.
No. I remember the late great Neil Cooper, when he was manager at Ross County, extolling the virtues of Gethins, saying he finds positions, he drops off.
That's a great ball.
That is a great ball. That's good run away though, but he said he finds positions, he comes off at players and he finds positions that no players want to follow him, you know, and he says he's got that knack of scoring goals.
The late great Neil Cooper was certainly right with that, there was no doubt. I think the longer it goes 0-0 at Seafield Park as well, Bucky Thistle will be getting a wee bit edgy, because that's Brechin aren't playing today. Chance for the Jags to go back 7 points clear if they could win.
Yeah, of course, Brechin not playing today. Day off for Brechin City today. I think that goal's made the cup final now. It's opening up.
Aye, definitely, Dave. I mean, but Banks of D, they can, if they wish, sit in a wee bit more and play on the break. But
I don't think they will, Callum. I think they'll just play their normal game. That's a good ball forward.
Oh,
he's offside. Not happy.
That was a poor
He's going to get a booking for
linesman.
that. He's going to be booked for that.
He's getting booked for his petulance, but we were right in line with that, and he was not offside.
Nathan Mears receiving a yellow card for, as you say, a bit of petulance. Keith have gone 1-0 up against Huntly.
Well, that's a good
bad result for your team then. You'd have been a Huntly fan.
That's enough accusation to throw out there, Dave.
But you're a Huntly fan.
I'm not neutral as always, Dave, as you well know.
Yes, like me with Rothes. Totally neutral.
A terrible accusation to make of me. But Keith, they got a good win on Wednesday night, as you saw. So
yeah.
Another boost for them if they could hold on.
Peterhead still winning 1-0, and still 0-0 with Elgin City Albion Rovers. Could be an important day for Ross County. They're beating St Johnstone 2-0. We're across all regions of football this afternoon. Could be a big win for County in their attempt to beat the drop. So we've got a free kick for Banks of D. We've got Mark Gilmore standing over it. What would they give for a second goal here, Callum? Nathan Mears and Andy Shearer quickly off his line. Ken Winton was offside, so he came back.
Sam Robertson's onside there.
He is. Sam Robertson looking to create space. He's got Robert, he's going himself. Good defending. Really good defending by Banks of D there. But only as far as Jamie Meekie. Greg Mitchell playing in Robertson. Robertson, good ball to Logan Johnson. Ball comes in. Superb clutch by Andy Shearer.
Good goalkeeping from Andy Shearer. That was a nice wee move from Inverurie, the way they worked it down the left-hand side. If you were being ultra-critical, you could maybe say Logan Johnston should have done a wee bit better with his cross, but still very good handling.
Yep. wins, Huntley won, Keith won now. Keith won, Huntley won.
I only wish you could see my expression, Dave, because when you've given me news of these goals, I haven't changed at all. I'm thoroughly professional.
There we go. It's a good challenge by a shooter there, but it's a free kick for Banks of D. Not much in that, really, was there?
No, not an awful lot.
As far as Kane Winton, back to Tony Atsi, and a poor ball. Sam Robertson standing up there for that one and is looking for Nathan Mears wide on the right. It's a corner. Corner kick.
Good stuff from Inverurie there. Sam Robertson got his head up and saw the space. Jevon Anderson actually did well. He made sure he didn't foul Nathan Mears there. He stood his ground well. And I saw after that, Greg Mitchell's going round all the Inverurie players, the captain, trying to really rally the troops here and try and get them back in this cup final. I saw a man actually at half time who would have been well equipped to do that as well. Former Inverurie captain Neil McLean was enjoying the hospitality at half time, I did notice.
Didn't notice Nacho there. Didn't see him. Here's a ball in though. Banks of D clear it. And they clear it well. Tony Atsi is looking for goal, but a poor pass. Poor pass. Knocked long. He would have been offside, so that's a goal. Game certainly stretching a little bit now. Quick free kick or quick throw in there to Robert Ward. Can he get it in the box? Can he get it in? Oh, he tried a shot.
He was desperate to have a shot there.
Looking for a penalty. No way was it a penalty.
That's
That's a free kick. Yeah, he was taken out there.
Kane Winton.
He was taken out by Winton, and will Winton escape a yellow card? I think he will. He will escape a yellow card, but this is a chance for who now? Dingwall?
Callum Dingwall would be favourite here, I would say.
Jamie Meekie standing by him, but Callum Dingwall possibly. Former for Martin United player, Callum Dingwall, eyeing this one up. The wind behind him.
I think the thing here, if you're a manager, is you're wanting to ensure you hit the target at the very least. Make a goalkeeper work.
Yeah. The big wall in front of him, knowing there's a lot of height in that wall. That's Callum Dingwall with the free kick. Great shot, and it's. Oh,
it's a bit of a chance. Mears.
Nathan Mears couldn't get much on the rebound. Sort of palmed out by Andy Shearer, wasn't it?
It was, it didn't quite sit perfectly for Nathan Mears either. It wasn't just the easiest of takes.
Looked like a free kick when Neil Gold held it well. Here he goes again, Magnus Watson. Oh!
Side net.
So these fans thought it was in.
Side net.
They were up. Side netting.
Really good bit of play for Neil Gold. Used his hold-up play, which you maybe don't associate with him so much, but he held it up well and brought in Magnus Watson.
Did really well there.
lovely touch.
It was a good
Quite
ball.
set for Sam
He's
Robertson.
going to hit it.
What a great save,
shot.
Andy Shearer. Dingwall.
Dingwall and a great save by Shearer. Got down well. Locos with a sustained pressure now. Looking for that equaliser. It's a goal kick. That man Duke has scored again for Aberdeen. Don's leading Kilmarnock 2-0.
I think Locos the last 5 minutes, Dave, they've certainly upped the tempo a bit. They're playing with a bit more intensity and trying to really put Bankside under pressure. And had a couple of decent efforts at Andy Shearer.
They sure have. They kind of need to, Callum. They're chasing the game now. Sam Robertson breaks forward. Oh, just hits the roof of the net.
Roof of the net, aye. That was speculative, but it was worth a go. He wasn't far away.
One goes Locos' way. Long throw by Logan Johnson, looking to pick out Robert Ward, but well cleared by Bankside. If you're an Elgin City fan, Albion Rovers 2, Elgin 0.
Oh well, we'll be heading towards the foot of the table by the looks of that.
Disappointing for Elgin City. Mears hasn't really got into this game at all, has he, Callum, really?
Not a huge amount. He's had the odd flicker, but no too much, unfortunately for him. There's still time to change that.
Yep, there you go. Long ball forward and very easy for Bankside. He just nod it back to keeper Shearer. I don't think that's what Goldie meant to do there, but never mind. Long throw. Comes to nothing. But this time Locos have a chance to break. Once again, Bankside close them down. Logan Johnson, long ball in. Aimless kind of ball really, and Alan Dingwall looking to break forward. And there was a pull on David Wilson's shots there, and well spotted by referee Nicholson. pull these shots, pull them back.
I think he just waited there, Duncan Nicholson, to see if there might be an advantage for Inverurie, and good sensible referee, and he saw there wasn't, so back would come.
He's having a good game, the young lad. This could be a long ball at the back post, looking for the likes of Dingwall and Johnston. Oh, one off the training ground. Again for the first time effort. Well, he met it first time, but it was fairly aimless from Jamie Meekie there. Well wide.
I think he saw his sort of moment of glory there if he could have connected with that one, but it was worth a pop. It sat up for him, but
across the Highland League, it's now Brora Rangers 1, Formartine 1, and Turf United 0, Wick Academy 1. It's a bit of a surprise. The ball wouldn't break for Neil Gall, but he's won it again at his second attempt. Foul there for the Locos. It's a booking.
Mark Suter
claiming it Neil Gall died, but the referee Nicholson was there. It was a free kick, and it's a booking for the big centre half. Was taking their time this time. Gilmore with it. It's a high hanging ball. Looking for Jevon Anderson at the back stick. Phillipson, there's a man down in the box. Referee Nicholson calls a halt. Physio comes on. Let's see who it was that went down there. One of the Bank City defenders, I think it was. Anyway, getting some treatment.
it is Jevon Anderson, I
yeah.
believe. Just landed a bit awkwardly, I think, as much as anything when he jumped. Interesting, Andy Lowe's just made a change. Logan Johnston's gone off, and on comes Lloyd Robertson.
Substitution for Inverurie Locos, replacing number 6 Logan Johnson, number 22 Lloyd Robertson.
Two brothers now on together, Lloyd and Sam, and they're the sons of former Inverness Cali legend Wilson Robertson.
And what a player Wilson Robertson was. One of the speediest players I've seen in Highland League football. He could ghost past players.
He was part of that sort of great Cali team, wasn't he, Dave?
Yeah, he was. The Invincibles. Went through the whole season and never lost a game.
40 years ago this year, funnily enough.
Yeah, good player Wilson Robertson. Very similar to an old teammate of mine, George Gilbert, Elgin City. All left foot. What a player. He used to ghost past players as well. The brilliant George Gilbert, Elgin City.
So it's 15 minutes regulation time or so to play, and Inverurie sooner rather than later could be doing with an equaliser.
Yes, they certainly have to chase the game now after that superb strike from Magnus Watson. Opened it up. There is sustained pressure there for about 10 minutes, Locos, when Banks of D appear to have weathered the storm, Callum.
Aye, they certainly do, Dave. It was there was just that sort of flurry where they dingled his couple efforts. Sam Robertson had that lob onto the roof of the net, but the game's settled down a wee bit.
Well spotted by the referee, a wee tap at the ankles there. Locos free kick, they're looking to send it. Substitution coming on for Banks of D. I think
This
Jack Henderson
is Jack Henderson, and I'd imagine it might be Mr. Gold. I'm sure he won't want to go off, but he would be this. Oh no, it's
a goal scorer.
Magnus Watson.
Magnus Watson, which is a bit of a surprise.
In the 76 minutes he's been on, he's certainly contributed, that's for sure.
Very much so. So Jack Henderson coming on.
Substitution for Banks of D, replacing number 7, Magnus Watson. Number 14, Jack Henderson.
I don't think that'll weaken him. He's a well-known, renowned goal scorer, Jack Henderson.
He's pretty quick as well for on the counter-attack, Jack Henderson.
Locos really now need to chase this game. To take it to penalties after 90 minutes. Need an equaliser. Nice play by Davy Wilson there, looking for Nathan Mears. Oh, it's Robert Ward, got a half chance here. But he's offside. He's offside.
I would still be inclined to say, Dave, that Banks of D will get Inverurie, will get a good chance yet in the closing stages, because going through the game so far, you couldn't really say they've had one sort of gilt-edged opportunity. So I think that if they can hang in, there'll be one more for them. But there's danger here.
There's Goldie breaking forward. Phillipson wide on the right. Plays it back for Gilmore. Plays it forward to Phillipson again. Aimless ball forward by Josh Winton there.
Kane Winton, you mean? Josh is
he's the manager, he's his brother. Kane Winton, of course, yes. Too many Wintons about.
Wick Academy 2-0 up at Turriff. Mark McCuddy, Richard's younger brother, scored.
Now that is a surprise. That is a surprise. I keep looking for an equaliser for Rough, but it's not coming. Surely we can't beat them by Vale.
Still at Seafield Park, it's still 0-0, so Bucky will be trying to...
I'll tell you what, I expect Bucky to get an 89th minute winner. I think Spider will be going dual alley on the touchline. That's an aimless ball up the right wing. It only finds a throw into Locos. Andy Reid needs to knock this one long, probably. He is going to knock it long. Looking for Nathan Mears. Nathan Mears wide on the right, I think. There it is. Well, the clock is ticking now. What, 12, 13 minutes to go?
Not even that. There's, by my watch, with 11 to play plus stoppage time.
Kane Winton breaking forward. Did well, the big man. Whoa, and a great ball across, and nobody there to take advantage of it. Tony knocks it on.
Jamie Mickey there didn't help him.
That's it. Neil Gold holds it up very well. Mears thought he was fouled there by Kane Winton, but no. Pass to Sam Robertson, looking for Robert Ward. He's not going to catch that one. He's quick, but he's not that quick.
I was just noticing, going back to that Turf Wick game, it was Richard McCarty that scored the first goal. Now his younger brother scored the second.
Richard McCarty's 602nd appearance for Wick Academy. A wonderful, wonderful achievement. You think the distance, Callum, it was a 310-mile round trip on Wednesday night from Wick to Keith, and they're doing it every second week. It's amazing.
Great commitment, definitely.
Isn't it just?
Change coming by the looks of things for Banks of D here.
Yeah.
To see who it might be.
There's somebody limping off there. Look, somebody being helped off.
That looks.
Look, is it Darren Kelly?
Suspiciously like Darren Kelly, Dave. You're written off.
Yeah.
And it is. It's
substitution for Banks of D, replacing number 4 Darren Kelly, number 17 Robert Armstrong.
So Armstrong on for Kelly.
He'll go to left back, and Jevon Anderson just tucks in one to centre half.
Okay, so no real problem there. Good play by Antoniazzi there. Locos really need to pull something out of the bag now, and there's going to be a long clearance by Andy Reid. Well, won by Jamie Meekie, but Antoniazzi.
That's
nice bit of skill there.
Great footwork, just to pass, let him down a wee bit.
Yeah. Locos need to pull something out of the bag now with time running out quickly.
It's important as well. You can chase a game, Dave, but you need to retain your composure, because if it becomes too frenetic, you'll struggle to get anything going. But Ward's trying his best to catch that.
And he's done well. He's beaten his man. He's well closed down though in the end. He's been all action, young Robert Ward, but he's been sort of doing it all on his own. It's brilliantly held up by Gall, isn't it?
There.
Very clever play. Now it's Phillipson is going to play.
Jack Henderson clipped Sam Robertson there off the ball when he was trying to make a run through, and Duncan Nicholson, eagle eyes, spotted it.
Ref's had a very good game actually.
He has every credit to him. He's been first class, I have to say.
There's a chance for Locos to break forward.
Greg Mitchell.
Sam Robertson's going to try and keep it in. No. Runs away for a goal kick. So the clock is ticking for Inverurie if they want to win this trophy for the third time in their history. At the moment it looks like it's going to be a Highland League debut trophy winning season for Banks of D, but can Inverurie pull something out the fire in this last 6-7 minutes?
I wonder if it goes too much longer.
Oh, good play by Nathan Mears, brought that down really well. But once again, D's all
Greg
over
Mitchell's done well there though.
Yeah. Dingwall thinking about hitting it. Instead he plays it wide to Mickey. Good inside pass by Mickey, but that's going to go for a good defending by Bankside.
Jevon Anderson did well there. I was going to say, Dave, I wonder if before too much time runs away if Inverurie might consider, we'll come back to that, but if Inverurie might consider throw in either Mark Suter or David Wilson up front, because the one thing
I would think Suter up front would be a good play.
Well, the one thing at the moment, if they end up sort of slinging balls into the box, there may be another sort of big physical player up there to sort of challenge the Banks D defence would be a benefit, because Sam Robertson can do that, but Suter's certainly adept at that.
I think Suter up front could be a good play in the last 5 minutes or so.
In the news you're desperate to announce, you better get that out of the way as well.
Oh, you're not going to say Roth has equalised against Inverurie.
They have equalised.
Well done, Gary Kerr. Super sub Gary Kerr.
On a separate note, looking down the stand, maybe mixed emotions in there, because I see former Aberdeen captain Russell Anderson, Jevons obviously playing, but his other son Cole, who we mentioned, cup tied, he's sitting with Russell down there, so I don't imagine Cole will be quite as chuffed with the scoreline at the moment as Jevon and Russell might be.
I haven't seen Russell here. I've seen his father-in-law, Willie Lawson. He's here. Look, Willie's just here. The great play by Neil Gold. Oh. He was kind of out-muscled there by Mark Suter. Oh, I see him now, yeah. Well, what have Locos got left to offer? It's a great run forward by Ward. Looking for someone to give him support. Little bit help here. Oh, great tackle. Great tackle by Ali Stark. Superb tackle.
Brilliant challenge, and he had to get it right. If he got Ward rather than the ball there, it was a Stonewall penalty.
Now you call that right, Callum. And another substitution.
Sam Burnett going off.
Surprisingly quiet game for young Sam. Who's that coming on? Number
Jay Halliday.
Jay Halliday.
We've got 3 minutes to go.
3 minutes and counting.
Substitution for Locos, replacing number 14 Sam Burnett. It's number 11 Jay Halliday.
The clock is ticking now. He's strong in the middle of park, Kane Winton, isn't he? But he's beaten that time. Colin Dingle sends it wide. Halliday just on the park. What's he going to do? Looking for support at the back post, but he's muscled out of it. Out-muscled by
Kasper Loecki.
Yeah, Kasper Loecki out-muscled him there. This has to be long from Andy Reid this time. No, feeds David Wilson. It's long from Wilson, no.
It's worked out quite favourably for Inverurie there too. Kane Winton and Jack Henderson got touches on it, but didn't do them any good.
That's true. You would think they might just get another half chance before the whistle goes, but not if they play it like that. As an aimless ball forward. Having a go at each other there. Lloyd Robertson and Jamie Meekie.
We're into the 90th minute.
So it's all down to stoppage time now.
You'd imagine there'd be the obligatory 3 minutes, I would think, but at least, but we'll see.
Well, it stays like this. Of an impressive Hall of the Cabinet at Spain Park, Callum, with the Aberdeenshire Shield, the Aberdeenshire Cup and the Highland League Cup.
Well, those two trophies, I should say, Dave, are now in Fraserborough's possession, having won them this season.
Of course, yes.
But no, but they're certainly well used to winning silver or Banks D, but this isn't done
they have
yet.
a chance. No, never a penalty. Halliday went down far too easily there. Far too easily. It's a long throw coming in. They don't have Logan Johnson, but Greg Mitchell, I think, skipper, with the long ball in. There's a long throw too. Looking for Sam Robertson, doesn't find him. Goldie with the old head, just knocks it long.
The old boot as well there.
Yeah. So,
we're into stoppage time now. And David Wilson stayed up. He's up front now for Inverurie as well.
of course, Grant Shewan of GPS Builders will be presenting this trophy at the end of the game. A day of mixed emotions for Grant Shewan. He's also a director at Elgin City.
Mears has done ever so well there.
He has. Ball in the box this time. Look at, oh, well cut out. Now what can Greg Mitchell do? Feeds Nathan Mears. He's closed out. They're queuing up now in the box. In for the keeper. Oh, well headed away.
Kasper Lewicki
did well there. Did really well there. Oh, we're well into out of time now.
We've played a minute or so over, Dave.
Yeah. The dying embers now. What can Locos do? Well, not much there. It looks as if Banks Goodie's going to see it out, Callum.
Last chance time, I think, for Inverurie. We're 2 minutes into stoppage time.
Last chance, so there's not been many stoppages, has there? Well, that's an aimless ball forward.
Mears had strayed offside, was the problem there for Greg Mitchell.
Yeah.
It's sort of now 3-4-3 Inverurie in pursuit of this equaliser, but
yeah,
they've got precious little time in which to find it.
But Banks Goodie have defended really well.
They have, credit to them. I mean, anything he's had to do, Andy Shearer's dealt with, and I think Kasper Lewicki has had a fine game. He's won a few important headers and things like that. The ball's been kicked away. Somebody's going to get booked there, Mark Gilmore.
Yeah, Gilmore.
This really will be, I think, last chance time. Andy Reid is coming forward. He's scored before.
He has scored before. With his head, wasn't it?
We're into the 4th minute of injury time.
There we go. Andy Reid could have a moment of glory for the big Locos keeper.
Jamie Mickey to take the free kick.
Well, it's do or die now. Andy, you better get back in your goal quick.
That's it.
There it is. History has been created. Banks Goodie in their first season in Highland League football have won the Highland League Cup. Disappointing for Locos, but I think possibly overall Banks Goodie edged it, Callum.
I think, Dave, you would have to say the final's been settled by the one moment of real quality. Chris Antonazzi's passing behind for Magnus Watson, and his touch and finish was the one outstanding moment of quality in this game, and that's what's won the cup final. Both sides gave it their all. It was played in a good spirit and at a good tempo, but we would have to say in over a piece, chances were at a premium, but Banks Goodie, when their big moment came along, Magnus Watson, tremendous finish, took his chance, and that's what settled it.
Yeah, it wasn't a classic cup final, but it was keenly contested and well handled by referee
Duncan Nicholson had a fine game, and I thought it was an absorbing game to watch without, as you say, being a classic, but still a decent advert for Highland League football, and Banks Goodie will be very happy tonight. They've a bit of history, they've won another trophy, and well done to them, and I hope as well that for the viewers watching, wherever you've been watching, our dulcet tones haven't annoyed you too much over the course of the 90 minutes.
Well, I'm sure they haven't, Callum. And of course, here's the trophy coming out. We will stay with you for the presentation ceremony. We'll try and build that up for you. So, It's probably a day of mixed emotions for Grant Shewan, who will be presenting the trophy from GPH Builders, because a real thrill for him to present the trophy, but of course he's also a director of Elgin City Football Club, which he'll be disappointed with City today, because the last we heard they were down 2-0 at Albion Rovers, and it probably hasn't changed all that much since. We can check that out for you. Elgin City 3-0 down now at Albion Rovers, so disappointing result for City. The trophy looking resplendent there. John Campbell, the Highland League secretary, lining it up with all the medals for the losers and the winners. And where there's winners, there's also got to be losers, and it's always difficult to go up and accept defeat and take your loser's medal, but I'm sure they'll do it very, very gracefully. I was once at a cup final and watched the losing team get their medals, and the big goalkeeper from the losing team took his medal and flung it out the ground. Not very sporting-like. But I'm sure he regretted that. So it's something to show his grandchildren in later years, if he ever got it back. But here we go.
Please welcome to present the trophy, the Scottish Highland Football League Vice President, Mr. Sandy Sinclair, and the GPH Managing Director, Mr. Grant Shewan.
So it's Grant Shewan and Highland League Senior Vice President Sandy Sinclair for Martin United doing the honours. Grant Shewan from GPH Builders, our Managing Director. Firstly, usually the referee that gets their medals first of all. And
please give your applause to today's match officials as they're presented with their medals. First we have referee Duncan Nicholson.
Fourth official,
assistant referee
Filippo
Owen Lawrence.
referee Duncan Nicholson, and his
Second
assistant
assistant Will Mackay.
And
our fourth official
referee
today,
Duncan Nicholson handled the game
Mazzoni.
really well for a young referee. Superb performance by the big man. He's got the build of a great centre half or goalkeeper, hasn't he? Big Duncan Nicholson. He's at least 6'2", 6'3". And Filippo, the fourth official, didn't put a foot wrong for once.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give your applause for today's runners-up receiving their medals, Inverurie Locos.
And Locos going forward. The captain Greg Mitchell to receive the runners-up medals. They did well to reach the final. Many would have thought that Brecon City would have beaten them in the semi-final, but all credit to Locos for getting past Brecon and getting to the final. They played their part, it just wasn't to be their day. Never an easy moment, of course, to stand up there and go away as losers and applaud the team that have beaten you, but that's what they'll do before they disappear into the dressing rooms. They'll applaud the winners.
Could I get the captain to come up last, please, and could you give your applause to the GPH Builders Merchant Highland League Cup winners for 2023, Bankside.
As Bankside come forward so they pick up their winners' medals. And warm applause from both sides of the grandstand. '39-year-old goalkeeper Andy Shearer played well. Didn't make any mistakes, kept goal well. Big Andy. There's Neil Gold. Locos all-time goal scoring hero. I wonder if he'll have mixed emotions really about this one. And the skipper Kane Winton, last to arrive. He'll pick up the trophy.
Receiving the trophy, the GPH manager Director Grant Shewan is Captain Kane Winton.
Kane Winton with the trophy. leaving the base where it is. What's the lid?
Congratulations!
Celebration.
Once again!
Kane Winton and the Bankside team officially Highland League Cup winners. Season 22-23. And as the celebrations go on, Callum and I will bid our leave from the GPH Builders Merchants Highland League Cup final. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage. If you have, tune in next time. Thank you and good afternoon.